Hello everyone and welcome to Kenaston. We got in a little early and had the opportunity to have breakfast at the Kenaston Cafe, I believe, across, and it was fabulous. We have with us today our candidate for the constituency of Dakota Arm River, Barrett Kropp. We have also with us a number that are involved in the company and in the business of which is hosting us here today. In Kenaston, we have with us Rob Stone, we have Elda and Gert, and then we have Catherine Both as well, both who will make a few comments at the summation of my comments on what is happening here in Kenaston and the opportunities that she sees and the what small businesses are able to give back to their communities, not just here in Kenaston, but I think we can all relate to what small businesses do for our communities across this province. In saying that, there was some very strong news from Statistics Canada this morning. Saskatchewan's strong and growing economy remains just that. We had 17,200 jobs that were formed this past year by largely Saskatchewan small businesses. That means in this province there is a new job that is formed, that is created each and every 30 minutes. Our unemployment rate in our province is at 5.7%. That is tied for the second lowest in the nation of Canada, and it's below the national rate of 6.5%. We have strong job growth in Saskatchewan, some of the strongest job growth that you can find in Canada, and we have a very strong, vibrant and growing economy. And Saskatchewan's economy continues to strengthen the Canadian economy. We want to say thank you to our small businesses for contributing to the strength of that economy, and I would say don't let the word small in small business fool you in any way. Small businesses in Saskatchewan account for over 90% of all of the businesses that operate in our province and in communities right across Saskatchewan. In fact, the number of small businesses grew here by almost 45% in the last decade. From 2012 till 2022, the number of small businesses in Saskatchewan grew by 45%. These are job creators. They're employing over 30% of the workforce in our province, and they pay out over $7 billion each and every year in wages. That's dollars that are creating wealth for Saskatchewan families. During the pandemic, the government had made the decision to reduce the small business tax rate to help our small businesses weather what was an unprecedented storm. And in our last budget, we extended that tax relief until the year 2025, and today I'm announcing that if a Saskatchewan Party government is re-elected, we would make that tax relief permanent by keeping the small business tax rate at 1%. That works out to an annual savings for Saskatchewan small businesses of about $56 million each and every year. Money that goes directly back into our economy and into creating additional jobs in Saskatchewan. This is in addition to that, I would say that we have listened to the good advice from the Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce and its member chambers from communities across Saskatchewan. The Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce, for instance, has proposed a new small and medium enterprise investment tax credit that would provide about a 50% tax credit for individuals who invest in the equity of a Saskatchewan business with 50 or fewer employees. This proposal has since been endorsed by the Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce, put forward by the Saskatoon Chamber, but endorsed by the Saskatchewan Chamber and their policy platform for the election. And a re-elected Saskatchewan Party government will work with both the Saskatoon and Saskatchewan Chambers to develop this new tax credit to ensure that it fulfills its objectives and is delivered in a fiscally responsible manner and benefits not only small businesses in this province and future small businesses in our communities, but benefits the people that are living in Saskatchewan. We know that our young people in this province are full of energy, and they are full of ideas, and they are full of drive and determination, and we get to see that each and every day on the campaign trail. And we want to reward this entrepreneurial spirit, and we want to encourage this entrepreneurial spirit by providing bursaries to support youth that are entering business in a Saskatchewan community. The new Saskatchewan Young Entrepreneur Bursary will give $5,000 each through our 57 chambers of commerce across the province for eligible expenses. And our young people will also have the opportunity to partner and to be mentored by current business owners in those very communities. So we have current business owners with that experience, passing that on to the next generation, supporting that through a young entrepreneur bursary. These initiatives will then offer a path to success for all Saskatchewan business owners, and I would say a path to stronger communities across this great province. Our province's economy is strong and it continues to grow, as indicated by the job numbers out just recently as this morning. But there are still many challenges to running a successful small business, and Catherine might touch on a few of those as she has started up and is operating this business. But one of the biggest challenges continues to be the Trudeau carbon tax that is supported by the NDP. Yesterday, there was also a new report that was brought out by the Parliamentary Budget Officer. I believe it was an update to his previous report that confirmed that what us in this province, I would say residents of Saskatchewan, but all Canadians also are coming to understand that the Trudeau NDP carbon tax, it's costing each of us money. It's costing our families money, and a lot of money in many cases. In fact, the PBO has said that the average household in each of the backstop provinces, which is Saskatchewan is among, are going to see a net cost. Here in Saskatchewan, that cost is going to be just under $3,000 over the next 7 years. That's nearly $3,000 out of each and every Saskatchewan household and each and every Saskatchewan family, and that is going to hurt our economy in this great province. It's going to hurt the opportunity that we have to create jobs in Saskatchewan, and it's going to hurt our families and our family finances. And that's why Canadians just can't wait to go to the polls federally and get rid of the Trudeau government, as well as getting rid of the Trudeau carbon tax. But we have to wait, and we have to keep paying that carbon tax, because what we see is the NDP continue to prop up that Trudeau government time and time again, and keeping that carbon tax on Saskatchewan families. But the good news is this: I believe there is change coming at the federal level, and I would say that it can happen soon enough for the residents of this province. In the meantime, what we're doing and making an effort as a Saskatchewan Party is to reduce your taxes and to make life more affordable for Saskatchewan students, for seniors, for families, for homeowners, and ultimately for everyone that lives in this province. We will keep taxes low for everyone, and we will keep taxes low for our small businesses that are the drivers behind the economic success and the drivers behind the success we're having in our communities. A strong economy and small businesses that are creating jobs in our province, it creates opportunities for all Saskatchewan people. And that's a key part of the plan that we have for a bright future for our province. So I will open it up to questions in just a moment, but prior to that, I would ask Catherine Both to come and just speak a little bit about what it is she's doing here in Kenaston and the importance of what it is she's doing here to the community. Yeah, thank you, Catherine.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah. We've been in Saskatchewan for almost 5 years. Initially, we came over for a work opportunity, but in that time, we saw the need of having a butcher shop to offer the day-to-day needs as well as custom processing. And with having Rob's full support, we were able to open this up, and we've been operating for almost 2 years. Having a new business definitely has its challenges. It's been a roller coaster, but being able to provide local communities with the services that we do, it helps us think bigger, think about the years to come, and expanding and the growth of what we have here. And with growth comes more opportunities for the people in the community, work opportunities, and yeah, it's been hard, but it's been rewarding at the same time.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks.
Yeah. If there's any questions specifically to, I guess the announcement today, or to Catherine at here in Kenaston, I would offer those now. Southern Meats has been up and operating for 2 years.
Yes.
2 years, and is a joint effort. As Catherine said, it takes a village. You have family, you have locals in the community as well that are part of the team here at Southern Meats, and are really have revitalized, I think, a a service to the community in the surrounding area that was probably not going to be here. Been revitalized that to the point where now it is continuing to offer the service to not just the community of Kenaston, but the entire region. And now is looking to expand. And so exciting times today, not only for Kenaston and area, but exciting times into the future as well.
Just a question on, like, I guess, I mean, margins in the food industry are so razor thin anyway, so just, I guess, a little bit about how big of an impact that 1% would make.
Oh, it would definitely make a huge impact. We're trying to, because of the small communities, we're trying to look at every aspect as to how to help a household make the most with their buck. If they're looking to buy some a beef or a cow or a sheep, we're trying to utilize our expertise with Rob. I need some help. Rob. Yes.
Anytime a business can reinvest money that they can keep within their business into more freezers, more processing capacity, or any number of things to add labor, or even just invest in the local community when it comes to fundraising or being good participants. Anytime our costs are less and we pay less taxes, that has a good spin-off effect for everyone around us. So I'm not a big fan of paying taxes. No one is. And anytime we can keep money in our anytime we can keep money in our business and reinvest it, that's got good long-term impact.
I couldn't have said that better.
I would just add to that as well, and this is how our province was built by small businesses or individual entrepreneurs. Really, what started as agrarian entrepreneurs, but has moved beyond that to community entrepreneurs, and going to any community rink, any community hall, any community-owned facility, and you will very quickly find a donor board, and on that donor board you will find all of the small businesses that are operating not only in that community but in the region. It's how our communities are built is by the entrepreneurial attitude that we have, and we want to encourage that through a number of announcements here today that are already building on the strength of the economy and opportunity that we have in Saskatchewan. And 97% of the businesses that operate in this province are not the large industrial businesses that we often focus on and talk about at the political level on attracting. They're important as well, but it's 97% of the businesses in this province are businesses just like this that are operating often on a tight bottom line. But when that bottom line expands a bit, that money very quickly shows up, as you say, in some capital infrastructure. It shows up in an additional job, or it shows up in the community hall or the hockey arena. And I just, as you were talking, Rob, I was thinking of one small business in this province that started in an individual's basement, has then quickly expanded to a one location and then a number of locations. But it was AGT with Murad Al Khatib, which I think is really harmonious with what's possible in this province. A business that started in an individual's basement now is, without a doubt, the largest grain buying business, agricultural business that is Saskatchewan owned and is still Saskatchewan owned to this day, operating globally in literally tens, if not hundreds of countries around the world. One man's idea, but many people's effort. And bringing their talents and strengths to the table built that company, and we see that happening time and time again, and reinvesting right back into our communities. And so this is how our province has been built. It's a little different now than maybe our forefathers, but equally as important to all of it is people just like you. So thank you for what each of you do, and thank you for having faith not only in Kenaston and Rob, of course, but in Saskatchewan and Canada. And we live in a great place, and I'm really honored to be here today with you, honestly.
I'm just curious on what those conversations are going to look like with the chamber to continue developing and creating jobs and strong economic development for that partnership.
Well, I think what the you'll see more of the same, where the conversation is one of back and forth, but then one of the government also listening to suggestions that the chamber has. And this government has been no stranger to pilot projects, whether that be in healthcare with urgent care centers, whether it be in the mental health and addiction space and providing some of the recovery opportunities that we see in this province, but also in the business world as well. Now, we had reduced the small business tax rate from 2% to 0% back to 1% in a post-pandemic world to ensure that our small businesses could withstand what was an unprecedented and challenging time. And it really was an unprecedented and challenging time. That small business tax rate in years gone by has been as high as 8% under the opposition. 2%, 0%, 1%. Now we're going to hold it at 1% here in the province to ensure the success of our small business. This has come, again, by not only a recommendation by our Saskatchewan Chamber and their partners, but by businesses like Southern Meats right here in Kenaston. Second to that is to create opportunities and really, look at a model like Southern Meats, but many other models as well, where you have local entrepreneurs that are maybe already are successful or working and in a business, but are looking to expand their investment in their community or in our province. But then you also have people that are experts in a particular business to come together. And to find that success of where investor meets a great idea and entrepreneur. And we had the investment tax credit in the technology sector that I think is proving to be successful, not only at the collabs environment in Saskatoon, but the cultivator environment in Regina, to duplicate that at the request and at the suggestion of the Saskatoon Chamber. And so we'll be working with them on how we can ensure that this tax credit is beneficial, and if we need to tweak it as we go along. And is attracting investment into our communities. If we need to tweak it as we go along, we most certainly will do that. And the investment tax credit, again, is very similar to what we're doing in that tech space, and we'll work closely with the chambers on the parameters on how that is provided, where it's provided, and we'll just put a cap on the amount that is provided. But that might be an opportunity as well in the future to have more success stories like what we're seeing right here today. Yeah, Jason. Just get your elbows up.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's what CBC does best.
That's right. If this 1% level is the right amount and a good idea, why would it not have been announced in the last provincial budget?
We did hold it in the last provincial budget a year, which did allow us, it's proper policy, and we're being criticized for putting forward good, solid, foundational policy in this campaign. And if that's the criticism that the Saskatchewan Party is receiving, so be it. But proper policy allowed us some additional time, allowed businesses to reap the benefits of a 1%, one of the lowest tax rates on small business in the nation, to benefit from that in the meantime, but allow us that additional year to essentially put together what a 4-year plan would be for this province and beyond. And we'll have that full costing out in the very near future as well, as we'll have a fully costed platform. But it allowed us some time to bring together a number of decisions and ensure that we're responsibly putting together a policy on behalf of our party, which is our value proposition to the people of Saskatchewan in this election.
And a broader question, with all of these announcements during the campaign of tax reductions or new spending on healthcare, etc., where does debt reduction or elimination fit into your plan?
Debt reduction is paramount, and as in the next not too distant while, we will be bringing forward, like we do every election, our fully costed platform, which will include our intent on when not only can we balance the budget, and that is the goal, is to ensure that the budget is balanced here in the province of Saskatchewan on behalf of the people that we're asking for support to represent. We will have all of that laid out in full when we cost the platform that we have put forward here today, which largely thus far has been based around different variances of affordability measures for Saskatchewan students, seniors, people, families, trying to leave more dollars in the pockets of Saskatchewan people so that they can choose what to do with it and address some of the cost of living pressures that we're having. Despite Saskatchewan, yes, being the most affordable place in Canada to live, despite us having the lowest inflation rate, despite us having a strong, growing, vibrant economy that is creating jobs, as 17,200 in the last year, we are still facing, Saskatchewan families are still facing those cost of living pressures like every other Canadian. And so largely what we have seen in the Saskatchewan Party's value proposition and election platform has been focused on leaving more of Saskatchewan families and Saskatchewan people's paycheck in their pockets so that they can decide what to do.
Thank you. That covers sort of balancing the budget and the deficit issue. But what about the debt? Is there going to be a plan to eliminate the debt?
Certainly, and we need to be focused on not first balancing the budget, and second addressing what the provincial debt is. And I would just say that Saskatchewan today ranks second in the nation on the debt to GDP ratio. Saskatchewan has one of the strongest from the provincial perspective, one of the strongest set of financials of any province across the nation of Canada. In fact, one province that would be higher than us, I believe, would be British Columbia, who does not have the financial outlook and the financial picture that Saskatchewan has. And so plan one is to ensure that we have a long-term plan to keep the budget balanced on behalf of the people in Saskatchewan. We want to ensure we're continuing to grow the economy and invest in hospitals and schools and the people that are offering those services. But we always need to be focused on ensuring that debt is manageable over time, and when we can, decreasing it. This is a contrast, and this is a difference between the platform that the Saskatchewan Party is putting forward, which will be fully costed very shortly, and an uncosted, irresponsible $3 billion hole that was put forward by the NDP. Thank you, everybody. Oh, yeah.
Can we do some ambush questions on that?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we love ambush questions.
The NDP had been critical of I think it was 3,000 provincial housing units that were sitting empty, and there was a plan to renovate or fix up at least half of those. And how's that status going? And I know you probably said it a million times, but just the Sask Party's issue, or plan to address it.
So the plan isn't just to fix houses up. The plan is to transition families into those homes, and we just worked with a local CBO, actually at the mayor's request and her thoughts through her conversations on another somewhat of a pilot program, and if it works, we'll expand it and expand it quickly to other communities and a larger number of homes, but a rent-to-own program where we do have a community-based organization that is working on a criteria on who would be eligible to move in to these homes. We will fix them up and provide them, and it would be a rent-to-own program for a family that is transitioning into their own home, and an opportunity I would put forward for that family to not only have a place to live, but to actually work towards owning their own place to live. That's the goal. The goal isn't to fix the houses up and just have someone in them. There is a much broader conversation around how people will get into their own home and into a better opportunity in their community and a better opportunity for their family around all of the supports that start sometimes at a homeless shelter, transition into assisted living, transition maybe into a rental house or a Sask housing house, or preferably and hopefully transition into maybe a rent-to-own program like we are piloting currently in Regina. And so the focus is about families having the opportunity to have one of those homes as their own, as opposed to the government being a tenant for folks to move in and move out.
The NDP are set to release their platform this morning.
Well, I hope they explain the uncosted $3 billion, the missing $3 billion.
So again, your reaction to what they are saying is their fully costed platform.
Well, how would you commit $2 billion to education, and then over the next 4 years add $200 million into the education budget? So 200 times 4 is not $2 billion. And so there's just one very quick example as to where they're missing $1.2 billion. And you can find the other. There's over $3 billion that are not costed. I would say that not necessarily a dishonest platform, but being dishonest with the people of the province by not telling them how they're going to pay for that irresponsible, uncosted platform. And I would suggest it's because they don't intend on it. They're going to ask Saskatchewan people to pay for it. Through higher taxes, the small business tax rate under the NDP, it was 8%. It was as high as 8% in this province. It's 1% today, and the commitment that the Saskatchewan Party is bringing forward will be not only a costed platform and an affordable platform for Saskatchewan people with a budget balance target in mind, but it will be real. The 1% small business tax moving forward will be real because it's costed. In the NDP's case, I would suggest this is one of the taxes that they would likely look at increasing.
And next week, both you and the leader of the NDP are going to be pitching, your vision for the province in a provincial debate.
Right.
How are you preparing for that, and what is really the biggest things that you're wanting to get across to them over just a short period of time in one night?
Well, I think everyone, both the leader of the opposition, the NDP, and myself will be putting forward, our platforms at that debate and what we see Saskatchewan as what our vision for the province and more importantly the people that live here is, not only over the next 4 years, but how the next 4 years will really set the stage for success for the future and success for our children. We firmly believe to focus on the strength of that growing, prosperous economy provides us that bright future for not only us that live here today, but for our children that we want to live here tomorrow. You put that alongside the value proposition and the record of the NDP, which is one of declining population, losing our children to other provinces, and one that most certainly is not one that was creating jobs in communities, let alone attracting investment into those varying communities. With a $3 billion hole in the platform that they have put forward, the uncosted, irresponsible platform that they had put forward, decline, loss, and closure is not only their record, I would say decline, loss, and closure would be their plan moving forward as well. And I think that will be evident as to what is a realistic plan moving forward for the future of our province and those that live here today and those that vie to live here in the future versus the record and the plan of the NDP, which is an irresponsible plan with an uncosted platform that just simply won't be attained. Now, thank you, everybody.